going to be stolen, I think, by the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Ray rocked the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
Stolen by Bird and the cut to DJ. Yes! Buckle up for Kobe Bryant.
New era.
Oh! A jawbreaker! Curry way down top. Bang!
It's all basketball.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Lace them up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
It is the final day in which we will be filling in for Rick Ballou and Hacker. Both will be back on Monday. However, it is another edition of Open Gym here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. RJ Saunders here with you, along with Dylan Denmark. We are so thankful that you guys are here with us, taking moments out of your busy schedule to chop it up with us about the Jaguars. It is training camp eve. Rookies and QBs checking in tomorrow. ACC Media Days next week. We have so much that we have to discuss. We'll have various experts giving us insight into all of it. But as they are doing that, you know us. We love when you give us your feedback on the program. A couple ways you can do so, whether that be on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosure 641-1010, or on the digital platforms in which we have Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So I'm going to start with this. Competition. It's great for everyone, right? And to be honest, I think we compete each and every day. And every competition in which we have, whether that's against ourselves or someone else, whether it's going after a job or seeing who can win in a game of ones on the basketball court, or maybe who can write the best paper, whatever it is, we learn from a very young age about the spirit of competition. And in sports, it's probably one of the greatest metaphors that we have for life, and injecting that competitive spirit within inside of us. And you can do that a couple ways, right? You can either do that silently, which I think here in Jacksonville, competition and doing that the silent way has probably not been the best approach when it comes to attacking the day, the carpe diem, seizing the moment. And then there are other times where it can be fun, but it can also be serious. And I think that the episode of The Hunt that came out last night, I think that this was a great sounding board for the team as to how they need to come in and attack this training camp, game one of the regular season, and I mean, hell, even game one of the preseason. To me, this was bonding at the highest degree. Maybe it's been a thing we haven't seen from previous regimes because Urban Meyer and Doug Peterson go about things a different way. Maybe they said, listen, we don't need to do any sort of bonding in a way in which we saw it on The Hunt. This is the game plan. We are going to hold ourselves accountable. And this is what we're going to do up until game one of the regular season, when the ball goes up, until the final whistle of the final game of our season, whether that be in the regular season or even in the playoffs. But I think for a young team that needs a bit of leadership right now, a young team that needs a shot in the arm, because they have been rocked, rattled, and rolled for the last few seasons. I'm just talking about in the Trevor Lawrence era. I think this was probably a perfect way in which you could get the team's attention. And surprisingly enough, at the end of the episode, when it comes to the team bonding experience and setting a culture, it was kind of confirmed by many players on the Jacksonville Jaguar team that this was very positive. Here are a few of the Jacksonville Jaguar players from that Hunt episode last night talking about the Iron Jaguar contest and why it works so well.
You just learn a lot, about yourself, about other individuals, about how to communicate effectively, how to communicate better. I think it's just a total growth experience for everybody, honestly.
I think there is ways to force culture, and I've seen it whether it's high school, college, or NFL, and it is there'll be a kind of a corny sense of this is our culture, and I think that what we're doing here, from the top all the way to the bottom, they're kind of letting it happen organically.
I don't think the culture was quite defined in past times, and now it's like we work and we grind and we get big and we get strong and we get fast. I think that toughness that's being instilled, and even in these Jaguar games, that's going to be one of the biggest things, the toughness and the resilience. And, I think that's going to carry over to us on game day unconsciously.
On the field, one-on-ones, the intent is to win. We're about to go to war with these guys, with them, to see if we really battle tested. I think training camp is going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a super high-stake, competitive, every single day competition.
And hopefully it is a good one, as you hear the voice of Josh Hines-Allen. But, we hear Foye talking about how it was beneficial throughout that episode. Josh Hines-Allen talking about how it's beneficial. Dewey Wingert's probably sending a shot to Doug Peterson, maybe about how there wasn't any sort of team bonding or setting a culture. And we saw the players really getting after it in this competition. And I think that is what creates a strong bond. Friendly competition, there's nothing wrong with it. But also, here's been the gripe. Or maybe you can say the talk around the NFL and league circles from players and maybe even coaching staffs. It's probably the equivalent of what we would say, to use an NBA phrase, Blake Griffin. You hit him in the chest one good time and you got him. And I believe that's the same thing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially in the trenches. You hit them one or two good times, they're going to fold. But Liam Cohen, the strength and conditioning team, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli now being in the building on a much more consistent basis as the EVP. It's essentially giving off the vibe that if you hit us, we're going to hit you guys back, especially within the trenches, because I think that's going to be a big question mark here. Can you block? Can you tackle? Can you stop the run if you want to give a third option there? But for the last few years, it's been a situation in which we feel maybe the Jaguars have, in those categories, been a bit of pushed over. And this should give them at least the idea of not how to hit. They weren't going out there hitting one another, but the approach in which we should be bringing to camp and throughout the regular season. And I really enjoyed what Cohen said at the end of the episode when it comes to the meaning behind these games. Here's the head coach.
We've got to come back in the best shape of our lives if we want to change the outcome of how we perform on Sundays. That's the goal, and we owe it to each other. Every player, everybody in this thing together owes it to each other to come back and not waste training camp. We've got to come back in the best shape so that when we get going, we hit the ground running and we don't go back to square one.
It's a mindset that Liam Cohen is trying to implement within his roster. And I understand this probably does not simulate an offensive line going against TJ Watt, a defensive line going against Penei Sewell, but understanding that passion and that fight. Because the thing that will kill me the most, and I'm sure that it'll kill a lot of you that are on the fence or hate seeing the Jacksonville Jaguars continually be pushed over or stepped over, like Iverson doing Ty Lue in game one of the finals, is if you guys go to training camp during the open practices, and it feels like you're right back at square one, which is something Liam Cohen is saying, no. That's not the point of these games. That's not the point or the reason why I'm here. So this was definitely needed. I also believe that us as a fan base needed to see this. It almost reminds me, seeing that competitiveness, seeing that bond, seeing that passion, kind of reminds me of the 2020 Lakers team. When they would talk about consistently, they were going to movies together and they were competitive in practice each and every day. Or the 2008 Boston Celtics, when they said, listen, on the inside, we get after it against one another. But on the outside, we're rolling 10, 12 deep. Brian Scalabrini's able to hang out with a guy like Kevin Garnett or Paul Pierce. Two guys that you feel are probably on the opposite side of the coin, but because they're going to war together, we're brothers. Till said otherwise. But we understand that the work is important because we all are here for one goal, and that's to win an NBA championship. Now, the goal for the Jacksonville Jaguars in year one, I think that's left up to how we as fans contextualize what the goal should be, whether that's finishing with a winning record, wild card game, home playoff game, deep playoff run. That's left up to us, and you know me, I'm always open to listening to all comments. But in a way, I do believe that we are trying to usher in, or Liam Cohen, for that matter, is trying to usher in the Mamba mentality. And speaking of the 2008 Celtics team, this was Kevin Garnett. He did an interview, I believe this was a year and a half ago, with Shiloh Sanders and Deion Sanders. He visited Colorado, and it really got me thinking. And I want you to take a listen to KG and the why and the how he attacked basketball with the passion that we as fans love so much.
Right. I'm all out. You know how you had to go, right? It was a kill to be killed. It wasn't no gray area. Right. If a guy was killing you, he was trying to step on you. So you get into a mode where practice, playing around, it ain't really no playing around because you're trying to win, right? So I'm trying to win. So you going at a tenacity. I'm used to going at a certain tenacity, working out, playing one-on-one, caring, passion, having my teammate back, communication. It will with me if you and I getting ready to, if he's getting ready to teach me something, and I wasn't going up nothing than less than 100. That's right. If he wasn't giving me no effort, then why should I go hard? The kids' effort these days ain't up to par to what I would like to see because game speed is game speed. And game speed ain't cool. Ain't nothing cool about the game. Ain't nothing cool about the game. It's all Thank you for validating. Feel me? But it says something when P out here got a big old joint on his leg, playing Bron. Right. P, you sitting out tonight? Nah, I'm gonna see what it do. Man, you gotta suit up, man. Right. Your best player suit up, bro. You gotta. Right. You see me? If I see him in here dragging it, picking it up, suiting up, putting it on, P, you going? Yeah. I'm from the bus. Yeah. I'm going, P. I'm with you. You know what I'm saying, bro? It was a brotherhood when you went out here. And then when you play in Cleveland, you play in LA, it's just us. Ain't nobody else in here rooting for you. That's right. You know what I'm saying? So I carry it different.
I think the Jaguars have a big opportunity here. And I believe that it started with that. It may not have meant a lot to us as fans saying, oh, they're just playing games. But the competition level, I think that's something we have not seen in previous regimes. You hear Josh Hines-Allen talk about it, and I agree. This is going to be a big training camp. Liam Cohen saying this is the energy we have to bring to it. We now have to bring this to camp. And the reason why I play that Kevin Garnett clip is because there are going to be times where they're out there on the road. Have a tough game against the San Francisco 49ers. Have a game against the Kansas City Chiefs here, but I'm sure there are going to be a lot of opposing fans that are going to be in that stadium. You're going to have tough games in Houston. You'll have a game in Indianapolis. But when you go there and it's just us, ain't nobody out here cheering for us. Can we get to a point to where we don't have a player in the locker room after a loss saying, I saw a lot of quit out there? That's something that we do not need to see or something that we need to hear from anybody next season. If you attack this correctly, in my opinion, I think you can have a very special team this season. And what makes me the most proud about it is now Travis Hunter, at least in my opinion, after seeing that video, this is not the sole purpose why there needs to be a shot in the arm. Because he is out there. He is everybody's best friend. We treat him like the president. We treat him like the mayor over here. But now let that amplify the entire Jacksonville Jaguar roster. So it also kind of makes me understand why Trevor and the guys went to the Bahamas, putting in extra work. Now, the question is, are things different with guys in the building? Are they going to come out here with this mindset of competition, of going hard, of having that communication? Because it's one thing to do this when there's no record on the line. Sure, you won and you don't have to do a conditioning test. Doesn't mean Carolina isn't coming in here week one looking to go 1-0. Still doesn't answer all the questions that we have on the offensive line, interiorly on the defensive line. Doesn't mean that there still aren't questions about a quarterback going into year 5. And maybe with the video, I could be overreacting. But I don't think I am entirely, just due to the fact that we can go through many other Hunt videos, especially there from the Doug Peterson era, and I don't think we ever saw this. Never saw a video to where we're saying, okay, we're fired up because we're seeing these guys really get after it. They can all say the right things. They said things in the Doug Peterson era that got us fired up. This, it felt a bit different to me because it brings a sense of passion, but it's also bringing a sense of community within that Jaguars organization that may have not been there. And Cohen talked about the fact that he wanted to build a sense of community here. And so far, in my opinion, he's really hitting the nail on the head when it comes to what he's trying to accomplish here in Jacksonville. And I think when you do it like this, you see positive things. It makes you want to work harder. Communication gets a lot better. Activity is more fast-paced. Studying may be taken more seriously. That's something I believe was one of the biggest pluses from the Hunt video. Although we didn't see a lot, although we didn't see every single game being played, and although it doesn't answer every question, it does give those guys an idea. And in turn, it gives us an idea as we head into training camp. Let us know, 641-1010, what you thought of the Hunt video. Those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear yours as always. But what is a training camp vibe like day one? Let's speak to a former NFL QB who experienced that in Cleo Lemon right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The action. The motion.
You see that acceleration.
Feel the active emotion of live play-by-play.
It's amazing how much energy.
On 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione. Campione Law.
Here's Linda Beaver.
The dog days of summer are here, and so are the hottest deals of the year. Whether you're hauling down the street, cruising on the beach, or just escaping the heat, we have the ride you're looking for and the wow you experience you deserve. Save big on select models with sizzling summer savings, low financing, and limited time bonus cash on all trades. So don't sweat it. Come beat the heat at Beaver Automotive, where the summer deals will wow you.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service. 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Need the right tools for the job without the full-time price tag? Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach is what you need when you need it. From heavy machinery for commercial projects to weekend projects at the house, we've got you covered. We've been serving Jacks for 50 years. Visit Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach, just behind Aqua East Surf Shop, or call today. We also have event rentals too. Tucker Equipment Rentals. Tools you need without the price tag of purchasing.
The playoff-bound Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are in full swing at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family, fun.
Hi folks, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Our next guest, simply put, is my guy, and on the football field, he was an absolute dog. Longtime NFL quarterback, made a stop right here in Jacksonville with the Jaguars. You also hear him on XL Primetime on occasion. He is Cleo Lemon, joining us now on 1010XL. My brother, how are you, man?
RJ, big dog, what's going on, baby?
What is going on, man? And we are finally here, training camp eve. We're going to have the rookies and QBs reporting tomorrow, the rest of the squad reporting on Tuesday. And we've heard you on XL Primetime a bunch talk about training camp and the vibe and what it's like. In your opinion, though, when it comes to this Jacksonville Jaguar team that's had a lot of questions surrounding them, do you feel that this training camp is one of the more important training camps for this ball club that we've seen in past years?
Absolutely. You know, with the new coaching staff and the new direction and just, you know, trying to get everybody incorporated, man. They had a great draft. You know, they're looking very exciting for this new year.
Right.
So to set the tone for the new staff, the new direction, the new leadership, with Tony Baselli and his new position, I think it's a tone setter, and I think it's going to be very important for those guys to set the tone with this first training camp with the new regime.
Now, speaking of setting that tone and setting that culture, I mean, the Jaguars come out with another installment of their Hunt series, and we saw the competition of the Iron Jaguar competition, as they were calling it, and guys are making teams and competing against one another. And what stood out to me was the fact that a lot of these guys were talking about there's a culture being created here that probably wasn't here with past regimes. Just how important was it and is it for Liam Cohen and his staff to establish a culture early when you have so many new faces and new voices in that building?
It's very important, man. You know, competition is the foundation of any team, you know, especially a professional team that's looking, you know, for that new identity. So having that competitive camp and competing in very different aspects of camp,
right,
you know, and just turning up the volume, man, turning up the heat and just letting everyone know how important every rep is, every practice session is, and then everything you do off the field as well, how important it is to compete and be at your best at all times.
Longtime NFL quarterback Cleo Lemon joining us here on Open Gym. Now, we speak on the offensive line a lot when it comes into, you know, account of the questions that we have when it comes into this training camp. But if I were to erase that as an answer for you, what are you most curious about heading into this year's camp with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
You know, I think what everybody is excited and to see what they're going to do, you know, with Travis.
Okay.
I think that's the number one question. We want to see, you know, is this focus going to be heavily on the defensive side of the ball? Is it going to be heavily concentrated on the offensive side of the ball? I think that's one of the first questions and one of the first answers every fan and every casual fan that's just an NFL fan would like to see, because he's such a dynamic player.
Do you have an idea kind of in your mind as you've thought about it where we'll potentially see him more this season, whether on the defensive side or the offensive side of the ball?
You know what? I've always leaned to him being, you know, on the defensive side of the ball, being a corner. And why I say that is because, you know, he was he was coached and mentored by, one of the true legends of our game, and Deion Sanders, and him being one of our all-time greats, and having his hands on Travis for the past 4 years at Jackson State and also at Colorado. He was highly regarded as a recruit coming in, and with, Deion's expertise at that corner position, I just felt like the mentorship, the coaching development of Deion at the corner position will probably pay more dividends with him being on the defensive side of the ball.
Cleo Lemon joining us here on 1010XL. There are plenty of individuals here in Jacksonville and throughout the NFL world that really seem to be on the fence about Trevor Lawrence going into year 5. You've been a part of many training camps along your illustrious career. Just for you, what's the type of season you think the franchise QB needs to have to place himself in a spot where he's looked at as a top-tier quarterback once again?
Well, I think this is going to be a real turning point for his career. I think, with what Lynn Corn is bringing from Tampa, and the type of offense he ran there, being successful with Baker, and then seeing the same attributes that Trevor has, I think, in my opinion, I would say for Trevor's career, this is probably going to be his most important training camp, to date.
Right.
Because questions are still out there. We want to see him just take that next step. I would like to say majority of the fans, are pulling for Trevor to be that guy, but at the same time, if it doesn't show this season, I would anticipate a lot of the fans probably looking to make a change at that position. So for him and his career, I would say, man, this is probably his most important training camp to date. And I'm looking forward to him, being successful. I'm looking for him to, to taking this offense, with his expertise and making it his own and then just going out there and making plays. But at the same time, he has to get it done. And I think now is time for him to step up and take that next step.
Is there anything in particular you would like to see from him on the field this season in terms of improvement?
I would just like to see the leadership aspect. I would like to see him take control. And then just, when it's there, let that thing go, man. Complete those balls down the field. I would say that would probably be one of my high aspects of his game, was push the ball down the field, being more accurate down the field. And then also when it's not there, man, he's such an athlete. He has such great size and athletic ability. I would like to see him use his feet more. Get out there and make some plays and, extend some drives on third down with his legs and just continue to just, grab the confidence of the team and put those guys on his back.
Now, we've all looked at the schedule for the Jacksonville Jaguars going into this year, as I'm sure you have as well. Just record-wise for the Jags, where do you think they can be and finish realistically?
I think they can make the playoffs. I think they can win the division. I don't think that Houston has a stronghold on this division. I think it's up for grabs. And whatever that record has to be to win the division, I think they can do it. I would say, at most, as long as they're competing at the end of the season for a chance to make the playoffs, I think they'll be in a great spot moving forward, with Trevor at the helm.
9 wins, is that looking too lofty, or do you think they can get there? Maybe 9-10 wins?
I think they can, man. I really do. It's hard for me to put a number on it,
right?
Because every year the division winner, they're not running away with it, right? So it's in the past couple of years, it's been about that 9 to 10 win. That's where it's been, 9 to 10 wins, and I think they can do it with this division because I don't see anybody dominate.
Final couple of moments with Cleo Lemon, longtime NFL quarterback. You also hear him on XL Primetime on 1010XL, joining us here on Open Gym. So final one before we let you go. And again, thank you so much, Cleo, for giving us a couple moments, man. Offensively or defensively, who do you think is due for a big year this season for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
That's a great question. I would say both, but at the same time, I would say, man, I would like to see that defense get back to what they're known for. We have two staples on the defensive ends. They can really get after the pass rusher And I just think they can cause havoc. The secondary is rebuilding, but at the same time, they have the pieces. But I would like to see that defense get back to their dominant play and then seeing the offense come along as the season progresses. But to start out the season, I would love to see that dominating defense.
We are excited. It is training camp eve here in Jacksonville. Rookies and QBs report tomorrow. The rest of the squad is going to report on Tuesday before they get after things on Wednesday. So excited and so thankful that Cleo Lemon able to break it all down for us here on Open Gym. Longtime NFL quarterback, also former Jacksonville Jaguar. My brother, you know how much this means to me, man. Thank you again for doing this, and hopefully we can do this again soon, bro.
Man, just give me a call, baby. You know where I'm at.
Absolutely. There he goes. Cleo Lemon, longtime NFL quarterback, made a stop here in Jacksonville. Huge training camp for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We saw what they were able to do on the hunt in terms of energy. Says year 5 is a big one for Trevor Lawrence. I believe that goes without saying. Let's see how he attacks it going into training camp. First practice begins on Wednesday, which will also be open to you, the fans. Make sure to get out there. I believe that the gates open 7:45. Make sure to get there early. Get yourself a seat. Look at the 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars. But outside of the Jacksonville Jaguars, what are you most curious about in the NFL? We discuss that next with Robert Mays of the Athletic Football Show on Open Gym.
Take Jacksonville with you.
There's no place like home.
Listen to 1010XL away from home.
Oh, but anyway, Toto, we're home. Home.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices.
This is Jennifer Marion at Randy Marion Cadillac. Are you ready to drive away today in luxury? Then you should check out Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Discover our luxurious lineup with over 100 Cadillacs to choose from, including the stunning Cadillac IQ, Lyriq, Optique, and Vistique.
And here's something important. The $7,500 tax credit on EV vehicles will be gone in just 90 days.
That's right. Don't miss your chance to save while driving in style.
Visit us at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Plus tax type Title 999 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters. And drainage, too.
Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success. Hey, Jacksonville, need a fence and ready to save? At Superior Fence and Rail, you'll lock in 5% off your fence project when you sign by the end of July. A limited time offer for savings and peace of mind this summer. Now accepting appointments for a free estimate. So act fast and get 5% off your entire fence project when you finalize by July 31st. Cannot be combined with other offers. New contracts only.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com. AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
ticking here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag, whatever, wherever. Just use it, please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is. But what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
Sun's out. Deals on at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Enjoy summer eats like the Yingling beer batter fish sandwich, chicken salad lettuce wraps, and wings and tenders combo basket. All for under $14. Add 3 bone-in wings for just $3.49. And sip a peach cocktail or Michelob Ultra. HurricaneWings.com.
Santa Claus normally avoids Florida this time of year, but not this year. Christmas in July is happening right now at Beard's Diamonds. Get up to 40% off now through July 27th. Beard's showcases are stocked with all new fashion jewelry, exquisite colored gemstone pieces, and the best selection of diamonds in North Florida. Rounds, emerald cuts, princess cuts, cushion cuts, ovals, from a half carat to 10 carats and more. Come and find the perfect engagement ring now at Beard's and save up to 40%. Beard's Diamonds at the shops at Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see. Cycles of Jacksonville, or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Our next guest is a special one for me because he's the first guest I ever booked as a producer when I was producing for Rick Ballou, and I am glad that he has always made himself available whenever he had the time to come on Rick's show, and now it's crazy that I am getting the chance to interview him. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a treat as we are joined by Robert Mays, the host of the Athletic Football Show. Robert, we have made it to the entrance of training camp, my good sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's fun to be part of this full circle moment, and I'll just say, it's impressive. It's especially kind of rewarding to see you get an opportunity like this, because the reason I was always open to doing it is that you were so kind and polite every time you reached out, and it goes a long way. And when you kind of put that stuff out into the world in this line of work, it comes back to you. So I'm happy to see that you're getting these chances.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. I've looked up to you for a long time in this business, and it's just a great opportunity to be able to talk with you on this side of the game here in Jacksonville, Florida, as we are joined by Robert Mays here on Open Gym. So let's begin here just nationally. What's the biggest storyline you're interested in and will be focused on heavily as we get closer and closer to the regular season?
It's hard to say that because as soon as training camp is about to kick off, I get lost in the sauce where I'm obsessed with like every right guard battle in the NFL. Right. So sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees. I think the one that sticks out to me is, I'd say, 2 quarterback things. One, how does J.J. McCarthy look in Minnesota? You know, that team is just so ready-made to be competitive. We saw how much they did with Sam Darnold last year, and that's before they really got to go kind of all in free agency. If you look at their books in 2024, they were still paying money to Kirk Cousins. This was really the first offseason where Kwesi Adofo-Mensah got to open up the checkbook, and you look at what they did along the offensive line. You look at what they did along the interior of the defensive line. You can maybe quibble with the depth they have in the secondary, but for the most part, this is a really good roster with a really good offensive infrastructure, and now they need the quarterback to come along at the right pace for them to make good on it. And I would say the other one is what happens in Indianapolis. I don't even know what to make of that situation right now. I would love to pump Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard full of some truth serum and be like, what do you guys want to unfold here? Like, I assume you want Anthony to win the job, but how realistic do you think that is? So I'd say the quarterback spots in both of those places are what I'd be paying the most attention to.
If I could add one more quarterback battle, it would be that in Cleveland. I don't know who's the front runner there. Do you have any sort of idea as who you think it may be once we get to week 1 of the regular season with Cleveland?
I didn't say that one because I'm not like a big horror movie person. Like, I don't watch stuff that makes me uncomfortable on purpose, and that's kind of how I feel about the Browns quarterback situation.
Right.
I wonder what they see with this because, in my opinion, the best case scenario for them is for one of the rookies to win the job. I think that was a cleaner path if there were one guy, if there was one rookie who was splitting a third of the reps in camp. So I truly don't even know what the practice time is going to look like among those 4 guys. So I think my gut feeling tells me we'll probably see Joe Flacco early in the season. But if you told me the Browns had 3 starting quarterbacks at some point over the course of this year, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever.
Robert Mays joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. A lot of movement, as always, every NFL offseason. For you, who was your most improved squad going into this training camp?
The Patriots spent a lot of money. I don't know if I agree with a lot of the stuff that they did, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like some of the signings aren't really in line with their timeline. But I think if you just look at the overall talent level on the Patriots roster now compared to where it was at the end of last season, they have to be in the mix. Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams. They have 3 to 4 new starters along the offensive line. They go out and spend big on Milton Williams. They now have Carlton Davis. I still don't know what the end result is, but they're definitely a better team than they were. And then the other team, I would say, I really like some of the stuff that Carolina did. I think going out and getting Teteroa McMillan in free agency, to me, makes all the sense in the world. They double-dipped at edge rusher in the draft. They signed Tershawn Wharton. They got Trevin Merrick. I mean, that defense going into last season, or points last season, was one of the lesser talented units I've ever seen on an NFL field, and they kind of did that on purpose. They knew it was going to be a multi-year rebuild. Their number one goal was to build the right sort of offensive infrastructure around Bryce Young. They did that, and then they had the resources this offseason to really try to spend and improve that side of the ball. So those are probably the 2 teams that immediately come to mind, and I'd probably throw the Bears and the Cardinals in there to some extent as well.
Now, you spoke about the Indianapolis Colts early on in the interview. Want to travel back down to the AFC South with you, talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars for a second. Just how do you view Trevor Lawrence as a player? Kind of where is he in your QB rankings? Because it does feel like it's a big year for him going into this season.
I've always been a pretty ardent Trevor Lawrence defender. I think that last year was a little bit disappointing, even before the injury, because I think 2023, for me specifically, that team just was totally in over its head. There are some times where you just see an offense that's drowning and nothing is going right for them. And that's how I feel about the 2023 Jaguars. The screen game was broken. The run game was broken. They just didn't know who they wanted to be. And I think that Trevor was really just trying to keep his head above water. And I honestly think he did an okay job of that in 2023 specifically. Okay. Last year, the offense obviously wasn't great, but it wasn't the train wreck that it was in 2023. And I don't think he played as well. That being said, I think we understate how important a change of circumstances is for quarterbacks. And if you look at what Baker Mayfield was last year with Liam Cohen, even compared to what he had been the previous year with Dave Canales, what sort of offense you're in and what sort of help you have schematically, structurally, can go a long, long way for a quarterback. And I still have a candle lit for what Trevor Lawrence can potentially be in a situation with Liam Cohen, if Liam Cohen is the guy he was last year in Jacksonville.
How do you feel that a guy like Liam Cohen helps Trevor Lawrence? We saw what he was able to do with a guy like Baker Mayfield. In my opinion, was a guy that maybe we were saying was teetering as to whether or not he'd be in the league or he'd probably be a backup somewhere, to where now when you look at that ESPN article, there are executives and, experts there that have him as a top 10 quarterback going into 2025. Liam Cohen, now the new head coach here in Jacksonville. Just how does he help Trevor Lawrence, in your opinion?
I think it just makes everything easier. When you watch that Bucs team last year, there's no one single answer. To me, the 2 things that really jump out are the diversity of the run game that they had with the Bucs last year, and then the screen game. Those are just 2 easy outlets that Trevor Lawrence has never really had since he's been in Jacksonville, where you can just spit the ball out into space to a Travis Hunter and you have a well-designed screen game to take something off your plate. You can lean on the run game for explosives in certain moments. That's just not what the Jags have been over the last few years. There have been very few layups within the offense, and Liam Cohen gives you plenty. And then just think about, you go back and you watch, if anybody who has NFL Pro or something like that, or even go to YouTube, go look at Jalen McMillan's highlights from last year. And that's, to me, it's a Liam Cohen highlight reel. Just all of the schemed up, wide open, deep shots that he's able to build into that offense. And we did a show on the Athletic Football Show yesterday that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks about just the lessons you can learn by rewatching the best offenses in football. And of the 7, 8 things we talked about, I bet 6 or 7 of them included the Bucs in some capacity. In my opinion, he was one of, if not the best play callers in football last year, and that just makes life so much easier on the quarterback and everybody else on your offense.
Talking NFL with the host of the Athletic Football Show, Robert Mays, joining us here on Open Gym. One more question when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's that of their newest draft pick, Travis Hunter. I mean, here he's viewed as the GOAT already here in the city. I wouldn't be surprised if we're already dubbing him as the mayor and the president here in Northeast Florida. Is he the most intriguing player for you heading into this 2025 season?
Non-quarterbacks, I think he has to be, because who else in the NFL? I was joking today. John Shipley's a friend, and I was on our show that I kind of want John just to do a running diary of what Travis Hunter is doing at practice every single day, because I would read it.
Right.
Where is he practicing? What drills is he in? What's he doing? Can you say that about any other player in the NFL, where there's that sort of interest, not only in what he's going to be when the games start, but what he's going to be in training camp? And I think that really speaks to how unique of a prospect and how unique of a specimen he really is.
Now, do you feel or have some sort of idea of whether he'll be playing more offensively or defensively this season?
Zero. I really don't know, because I don't know what they want from him. My gut feeling is that he'll be an offensive player that moonlights on defense, but I don't know how that would work. What sort of packages would you use him in? Is it a week-by-week thing where you think a certain game plan you could use him more? Because we've never really seen that. We've seen defensive players moonlight as returners and offensive players with certain specific packages, but we very rarely see it on the other side of the ball. Every once in a while you get like the Troy Brown in New England thing, but that was almost by necessity. So I don't even know what the plan would look like in that way. So I'll be in Jacksonville on July 29th,
okay,
I think is the date. It's hard for me to always keep track, but it'll be one of the first questions I ask to the people down there because I find it fascinating.
Now, looking at the NFL again on a macro level, I understand it's hard to repeat. The Philadelphia Eagles are your champions coming into this year, but who are the teams you would say have the best opportunity to dethrone the Eagles this year?
I think your usual suspects, the Ravens and the Bills, I'd absolutely throw in there. 2 really strong teams, 2 really strong rosters, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I still think the Chiefs are going to be really good. I'm curious what happens with the Bengals. I think if their defense can get to an acceptable level, I feel like they could be right back in the mix. That offense was fantastic last year. And you go get Amarius Mims going into year 2 at right tackle. They go draft Dylan Fairchild in, I think it was the 3rd round. So hopefully you have 2 spots that are improved on your offensive line. And, can some of those young guys really come along under Al Golden? So those teams in the AFC, I think those are pretty easy to list off. I'm fascinated by what the middle class of teams, look at over-unders, teams that are at like 9.5. The Bucs, the Bucs, Washington, the Rams, all of those teams. I feel like if things break right for some of those teams, they could absolutely be in the mix. So I think the NFC has some more quiet contenders than the AFC might, and I'd probably throw Denver in there as one of those teams as well, where, listen, if that offense takes a step forward, if they get more out of Marvin Mims, if RJ Harvey gives them a pop right away, if they're the best defense in football, why can't that be a 12-win team that's competitive with the best teams in the AFC?
It has been an absolute honor and an absolute pleasure to talk football with Robert Mays. He is the host of the Athletic Football Show. Make sure to keep up with him on Twitter at Robert Mays, joining us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Robert, thank you so much for doing this with me. Like I said, it's an absolute honor for me to have been able to do this, and hopefully we can do this again sometime down the road.
Anytime, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. There he goes, Robert Mays of the Athletic Football Show, giving us the latest in the NFL. Also with the Jacksonville Jaguars, he believes he's pulling for One, Trevor Lawrence going into this year. I know a lot of us are as well, but it's also a year in which a lot will probably be told. The story may be told on Trevor Lawrence if he does not have a successful year here in Jacksonville, but we're not speaking that into existence. I think the Jaguars are going to turn things around here and get back to the playoffs. Who would have been your 5 selected players in the Jacksonville Ironman Challenge? Dylan and I discuss next.
From the windswept shores of the UK.
The greatest shot of his life.
Follow the Open Championship on 1010XL.
Look at those scenes coming down the 18.
Teed up by TopDressing.com and 904 Gutters with a Z.
Sun's out, savings out. That's what the summer is all about. Hurry to Kia on Atlantic this month to maximize your fun in the sun. Make no payments for 90 days and drive new Kia starting under $20K. Plus, it's easy to shop for new Kias when you know we have financing rates starting at 0. Take advantage of the sunniest time of year and drive away with the sunshine savings from here. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your Kia Coastal Connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
When the unexpected happens, you shouldn't have to face it alone. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we're here to fight for you. Whether it's an auto accident or a slip and fall, our Jacksonville team takes care of every detail, from investigating the incident to securing multi-million-dollar verdicts, so you can focus on getting better. And remember, you don't pay a dime unless we win your case. Our commitment is 24/7, bringing you the real support from real people who really care. Campione Law, your dedicated partners in justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Campione Law. At JEA, we're committed to keeping our community storm ready all year long. We continue to invest in our electric, water, and wastewater systems to make them more storm resistant. Our crews trim trees to help keep power lines clear from falling debris. Plus, our outage map and My JEA app make it easier than ever to report and track outages. Whatever storm season brings, we're ready to respond, restore, and keep you informed every step of the way. Learn more about our efforts and how you can prepare at jea.com/storm.
Tired of high energy bills? Well, replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. Don't miss Renewal by Anderson's summer sale. Buy 4 windows or doors and get the 5th one free. No money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires July 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
This is the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Yo, you already know it's your main man ET. And no one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails. Served over ice balls, local craft beers, and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. Rounded out with adventurous drink menus, second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree drafts. Check them out now on Atlantic and Kernan. Twin Peaks, eat, drink, scenic views. Come on, somebody.
We've all seen great overtime games and thrilling finishes, but when it comes to having a big time, knowing when to say when is key. Budweiser reminds you to win the day and night by designating a driver. That's a victory every time.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who you gonna call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Denny Thompson here. Look, don't get left in the dark. We're all trying to reason with hurricane season, so at least be prepared. For top-of-the-line generators in Jacksonville, I turn to Tyson. Licensed pros at Tyson deliver reliable, whole-home standby generators and provide fast repair service. They even do custom installations for local businesses, so don't wait. Ensure seamless installation and peace of mind. Call Tyson now for a free estimate on generator services, TysonInc.com.
Football season is almost here, so before it arrives, I'm going to get my home organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers. Anywhere that needs to be organized. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off during the month of July. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Summertime is busy with graduation parties, summer barbecues, festivities, family gatherings. The month of July, National Carpet Cleaning Month. So Zero Res is offering $45 per room of carpet clean and 20% off air duct cleaning services as well. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call them 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards, is spelled the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, yeah, I want to shoot, baby, shoot.
A big thank you to Robert Mays as well as Cleo Lemon breaking down the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL at large. RJ Saunders, Dylan Denmark here with you. Open gym on a Friday, our final day. Filling in for Rick Ballou as well as Ryan the Hacker Green. Both will be back on Monday breaking down Jaguars training camp. First practice is on Wednesday. Certainly going to be an exciting time here in the 904. Remember, the first day of training camp, you guys are invited. The 2025 Jaguars training camp open dates at the Miller Electric Center. Parking lots will open at 7 a.m. Gates open at 7:45. Practice is expected to start at 8:30 a.m. July 23rd, open to you. July 24th, as well as July 25th, open to fans. July 25th, however, is going to be an exclusive season ticket member day. Sunday, July 27th, NFL Back Together Sunday with a rookie poster giveaway. Monday, July 28th will be the first full day of pads. That's where I say, if you were listening in the first portion of the program, that's where we see if the energy that they showed in the Hunt installation, that episode that we saw last night, we see if it translates. It's friendly competition. We need everybody healthy, but ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of hitting. Nothing wrong with getting punched in the mouth. Nothing wrong with fighting. As long as once we get to game one of the regular season, we understand we're all family here. And the community in which we're setting is one of us against everybody. Tuesday, July 29th is also going to be open to you. Sunday, August 3rd and Tuesday, August 5th, also open to us, the fans here of Jacksonville, to watch the Jaguars put it together before game one against the Carolina Panthers. So bringing up that Hunt episode from the Jacksonville Jaguars that aired last night on YouTube, we saw what happened. Guys making teams, competing in events such as the obstacle course, cornhole, the bar hang, tug of war. If it were up to you, this is where we like you guys giving your opinion. You and 5 other Jacksonville Jaguars, who would have been your team competing in those events? Who would have been your team? Dylan and I are going to choose our teams. We would love for you to do so along with us. Dylan, I have a coin flip simulator. Nobody move. Nobody gets hurt. Call it in the air, my friend.
Heads.
It's heads. Do you want to go first or you want to go second?
I'll go second, so I go back to back.
Absolutely.
So the games are. So what are the games? We got.
So the games they had were tug of war, the bar hang, cornhole. They had an obstacle course and something called a triple B hang or something like that. I don't know what it is, but it was the events they were playing. So we'll play the same events.
All right.
It's you and 5 other Jags. If I'm getting the first overall pick, I will select a man who was the first overall pick here in Jacksonville, and that is one Trayvon Walkhead, the pride of Georgia.
All right, I'm going to go Foyer with my first pick.
Okay.
And I go back to back. I need a tug of war. I'm going to go this is tough because you go O-line or D-line.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I'm going to go DeJuan Smoot.
Ooh. Okay.
D-line for the tug of war.
For the tug of war. Okay, yeah, I think the size there between he and Trayvon Walker, that's an absolute battle there. My second pick for me, I'm glad you did not select him because I thought he absolutely looked yacked in the episode. I think he's going to have a good year. I think when you talk about guys who are due for a big year for the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially on the defensive side of the football, give me Mason Smith. Give me Mason Smith. I need the big guys. I need the big uglies.
All right, I'm gonna go the bar hang champion. I'm gonna go Travis Hunter. He don't weigh but $180. I feel like he would outlast anybody.
You're taking the freak athlete.
Yeah, freak conditioning.
You're taking the guy who Trevor Lawrence says does not get tired.
Yeah. Which don't surprise nobody.
This does not surprise anybody. As many places as we are seeing him now, whether it's hanging out with AMP, I know he goes out fishing. I'm wondering if the guy ever sleeps. That's the big question in which I have. I need a guy who's cerebral. I have the big uglies here. Especially if I'm thinking about that cornhole challenge. If we're tied after a couple of events and it comes down to cornhole, let me get the guy who is going to be throwing the football to a lot of these guys. Give me one Trevor Lawrence as my third pick.
All right. I'm gonna go another big guy.
Okay.
For the tug of war, I'm trying to think. Like, do I want Anton? Do I want somebody? I'm gonna go Fred Johnson.
Ooh,
big body.
Ooh,
big body. We're gonna anchor the tug of war. We're gonna win that, and I think we'll be all right.
Oh my!
And we'll
God.
figure out everything else. But so I'm gonna go. So I got Foyer.
You got Foyer.
Foyer's my versatile. Smoot and Fred Johnson for the big bites for the tug of war, and I got Travis Hunter for the bar hang.
That is absolutely unfair. I don't like that at all. If you have the guy who's probably most conditioned, let me go with the second guy. I'm gonna go Brian Thomas Jr. I need speed now.
All right.
I need a little bit of speed here. So Brian Thomas Jr. So I have my two bigs. I got Trayvon. I got Mason Smith. I'm looking for the cerebral guy here in Trevor Lawrence, and now I just need I need a little bit of speed, especially when they were going on that obstacle course. I think they were pushing the sled.
Yep, they were doing that with some weight.
With some weight on it. So Brian Thomas Jr., that's going to be the guy that I'm going to be looking to heavily to win that competition.
All right, I'm going to go the specialist route here. The cornhole, you could go. I feel like any of the specialists would be good.
Any of the specialists, yeah.
Logan Cook or Cam Little. I feel like any of them would be good.
Right.
But I think Cam Little is the best at a cornhole for all three of them.
But doesn't it also look like he is a guy that played a lot of cornhole and still plays a lot of cornhole?
Probably.
It's cheating. This is absolutely cheating in my book. My 5th pick, my final guy. Now you put extra pressure on me with this one. I was thinking of specialist guys too. I need a real competitive guy as well. But he's a name that hasn't been called yet, and I'm surprised by it. Give me Josh Hines-Allen. Give me Josh Hines-Allen to round me out. I think, he's dropped the weight, so, he can move a tad bit better than a few guys. Although, I think it's a tall order for us to win that tug-of-war battle against Foye, Smoot, and Fred Johnson. But you can't be the only person that has a cerebral killer on your team in Foye Oluokun. So give me Josh Hines-Allen to round it out. So for you guys who have been following along, Dylan's team consists of himself with Foye Oluokun, DeJuan Smoot, Travis Hunter, Fred Johnson, and Cam Little. It's going to be me, which I don't think I help my team at all. I'm weak. But who will be helping me in the strength category is going to be that of Trayvon Walker and Mason Smith. I'll have Trevor Lawrence in the cornhole competition, Brian Thomas Jr., because I need speed. And my cerebral guy, thinking is Josh Hines-Allen on this one. Great exercise for the both of us. Really want to hear from you guys who would be your 5 in which you would select. Also, who do you think would win between my team and Dylan's team? We both have very good teams. A lot of guys who were omitted. So let me ask, Dylan, if you had an honorable mention on your team, do you have an idea of who you would have selected as an honorable mention?
I'd probably go Dewey.
Yeah.
I'll go the versatile route. He got a little bit of speed, a little bit of strength.
Yeah.
I already got 2 big guys. I'm trying to find versatility when you're doing a lot of activities like this. Like we did this. I remember we did this when I played high school football.
Right.
It was like a tug of war, going like bear crawling through the tires, run a lap around the track. It was like a relay.
Right.
You want versatility. And you want dudes that have a little bit of speed. So I'd go Dewey.
And I'm trying to figure out myself a versatility guy that would have been an honorable mention. I was thinking of individuals like De'Ami Brown. I mean, with the Brian Thomas Jr. pick, I feel like I don't need ETN. You know what? I probably would have taken Tank Bigsby. I mean, he's got the speed. He's got the size. I think he's also just got the sheer, like a roughneck to go along with Trayvon Walker and Mason Smith, but not too much to where he can't do things that I'm requesting of Brian Thomas Jr. as well as Trevor Lawrence and even that of Josh Hines-Allen. So that is our picks. Those are our selections in the Jaguar Iron Man Challenge. Let us know who you think would win. 641-1010 are on our various chat lines, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It was a great exercise. We would love to hear from you guys. Ross Matisic, also a guy, a 502, saying Ross Matisic would have been a good selection for either one of us. And you heard Dylan talk about, hey, when you look at those guys, when it comes to versatility, Ross Matisic may be as much of a Swiss Army knife as they come. Absolutely love this exercise in which we did. I'm glad that Dylan and I thought about it. And also, we did not know each other's selections beforehand. That's what made it all the more fun. Now, have the Orlando Magic done enough to win the Eastern Conference next year? We'll chat about it next with Kyle Nash on Open Gym.
More videos, more podcasts, more Jaguars, preps, and college football. More of everything you love about Jacksonville sports at 1010XL.com.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Bari here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Bari Orthopedics today or visit bariorthopedics.com.
Want to bet on sports but no clue where to start? Millions of players are already making moves on Hard Rock Bet. Your friends might be winning. Why not you? Bet with confidence. Bets by real players help guide your picks. Go with the crowd and cash in on the wins. Any pick that catches your eye. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. New players bet $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, wants to make your flight in and out of Jax a fun one. Stop by Vino Volo in the airport and enjoy 2 signature Brackish cocktails. Vino Volo has amazing food and cocktails before your flight. Brackish Vodka is the first clean craft vodka and made right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Brackish Vodka for whatever your sport is. If your sport is flying, your vodka is Brackish, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hello. The Checkmate Coatings phone line has you covered from the floor up. From tough sports topics to strong surfaces, Checkmate Coatings is your floor's missing piece and your connection to the sports world on 1010XL.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through July 31st. And financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 125-8484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Who says there's no free lunch? Join me, Prosser, and Jaguar and Gator legend Fred Taylor for free food and football talk Friday, August 8th at the Alhambra Theater. When you hear this...
Bye-bye! Brock Marionville chasing a 90-yard run.
Be caller 28 to win a pair of tickets to a free lunch with Fred. Doors open at 11. Jags talk, Gators talk, football talk, including a 1-hour Q&A with Freddie T, and we're buying your lunch. Stay tuned for this sound to win your tickets.
Bye-bye! Brock Marionville chasing a 90-yard run.
Courtesy of Jenkins Hyundai and Genesis of Jacksonville on Atlantic.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Canines for Warriors provides veterans with lifelong companions in one of their highly trained service dogs. If you know a veteran who could benefit from a companion or simply want to support, visit caninesforwarriors.org.
Your love can give pets a purpose. To adopt a loving animal from the Jacksonville Humane Society, call 725-8766.
Having a mentor can positively change a young life right here in Jacksonville. It only takes 4 to 7 hours a month to be a big brother or big sister and change a life forever. Become a big today at bbsnefl.org.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating to a local blood donation center.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Frank Franzi here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville's full of memorable sports moments. Remember Tiger Woods' 60-foot putt on the iconic 17th? Gary Coate called it better than most. Better than most. Well, Coil Fencing is better than most. They're better than all. Coil has been that for nearly 100 years. So if you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coil & Sons today. That's at 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
It's crazy how we went from being two strangers at a press conference after a UCF win against SMU. Now, I would like to consider him family. I am so grateful that our next guest is the student of the game, Kyle Nash, writer and podcast host for the Believe Network and the Black and Gold Banneret. For you UCF fans out there, make sure to catch up with Kyle and all his great work. Follow him on Twitter at the SOTG. My man, what's going on?
In honor, joy, and privilege. Just don't start calling me Unc. I'm not that kind of old yet, all right? Do me a favor.
You know we won't do that. We won't ever do that, man. We're always family. I won't let the young guns call my man Unc out here. And before we get into the Orlando Magic, man, just wanted to know from you, because you do a lot of great work with UCF, just what's the outlook like for the Knights going into this season, for the football season as it approaches?
Oh, well, I mean, for the Knights, obviously all the excitement's for Scott Frost, 100%. There's some skepticism, sure, for a lot of the names you've never heard of. This roster doesn't even have a receiver on it that caught a pass for the Knights last year. But there's a lot of talk of explosive play and movement. They got speed everywhere. And while no one's really stepped at the quarterback spot to really extend themselves, according to Coach Frost, regardless about how he feels about his former time at Nebraska, I do like the fact that he concentrated on upgrading his O-line. And some of the defensive guys up front that he did retain are going to be a solid factor there on the defensive side. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Coach Frost put it best, saying that the Big 12 is a competitive yet winnable division. A lot of teams in transition. So it'll be fascinating to see the second coming of Scott Frost at UCF. I don't mind you asking about that, though. Keeping me going with the night shift and the black and gold banner, and I'm all about that line.
Absolutely, and that's what I want listeners to understand. If you guys need a taste of what you would be getting from Kyle Nash when it comes to the black and the gold, you can simply go and follow him on Twitter at the SOTG, student of the game, giving you all the latest with the UCF Knights. But now we transition to the Orlando Magic. Their season ended in a way that we didn't want for it to. However, they have made a lot of moves this offseason that should make a lot of Magic fans here in Northeast Florida as well as Central Florida very excited. And for you, I just want to get your opinion on what grade would you give the Magic with their offseason moves?
I mean, it's always tough to do it in the moment, right? You could tell the Magic have a lot of faith in what they're doing with all the picks they went away with. It. What was it, four first-rounders and a pick swap somewhere in there? A lot of movement going on. They're confident in what they're about to do, and I don't knock them for being confident. I can't give them lower than a C out the gate because Jeff Weltman came out and did what he said he was finally going to do. He came out swinging in the post-season press conferences May, saying he's going to make big moves. Got the Desmond Bain deal going. That's a big deal. And you know, at first, a lot of people thought the Magic might have been giving up too much. But after seeing how many teams are moving, and frankly, by the Magic's hand, I would argue, the Boston Celtics being big in the offseason with all the injuries and such that they've experienced and having to try to recover, take a year to recover from that, and also moving cap money, an excuse for the Tatum injury to kind of move some cap money around, yet still stay competitive. that's a good thing that they pulled the trigger as quick as they did. And by the way, RJ, we talked about this here. We're talking a bit in the open gym about why the Magic are air quotes to blame for the Boston Celtics getting involved in the offseason and the injuries they dealt with. Right. It was that tough first round playoff portion there that weakened the Celtics to then have to try to face a Tibbs coach team in the Knicks. Now, granted, Tibbs not there anymore, but you're paying back-to-back tough teams like that. No disrespect to the Celtics, but that's a tough go for anybody. Tatum's hurt, Porzingis limited. It's a whole thing, man. So, yeah, the Magic kind of put themselves in the corner getting the Celtics in that office involved potentially. But, I'm a fan of kind of losing. To give them a grade, for now I'm going to give them a shall we say, cautiously optimistic B.
Okay.
Just because we got to see how it all goes, man.
Kyle Nash joining us here on Open Gym. You spoke about Desmond Bane and what the Magic had to give up in order to acquire him. In your opinion, was the price for acquiring Desmond Bane too much?
I don't. And granted, it'll only look like it if it doesn't go well. And that's what I was alluding to earlier with all the first-round picks, right? If the picks are high picks that come late in the draft, then I mean, to quote somebody up there in Jacksonville, Jimmy Stone, James Gladstone, GM of the Jaguars, bleep them picks, right? So, I think that element is certainly in play. And they did it before. I'll say this, that maybe you could argue they did it around about the same time Jimmy Stone's there, made it cool in Duval.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to the offseason moves that the Magic also made, it was one of Tyus Jones, which I feel is a sneaky move for the Magic. I mean, they've needed a point guard for quite some time, and I thought that they could, do better than Corey Joseph. Although he did do very well in what he was asked to do with the injuries to Jalen Suggs, and you also had Anthony Black, who I understand he's a point guard, but a guy that's more looked at as a defensive point guard. I still think he's trying to develop as a point guard that can get guys involved and be a playmaker. Just what is Tyus Jones going to be able to do for this Magic ball club?
Versatility, first and foremost, right? Like we all know what's going on with Jalen Suggs. And listen, the problem with him is expecting him to finish a season. Like, I'm not over here calling anybody injury prone, but his style of play is going to make him miss some games. It's just a matter of when on the calendar it's going to happen to be. Hopefully it won't be as many as last year. By the way, with that whole scenario, with him missing along with Tyler and Franz and that whole debacle.
Right.
What I think this does is kind of give you that same versatility. You mentioned Corey Joseph, that same versatility you would have with a Corey Joseph on the roster, but a lot more talent behind it. And like you said, no disrespect to Corey Joseph. He made a pretty big impression, in the playoffs. Right. One can argue just as much, if not more, than Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, offensively at least.
Right.
And I think that's the big thing about these trades that we're talking about, whether it's Bane or whether it's Tyus Jones, these are weapons that can shoot. I know. Somehow I made it however many minutes into this conversation, RJ, and I didn't talk about how the Magic improved shooting. Why? If you're a fan, it's implied that any of these moves are going to do that.
Right.
Here's a stat for you that'll put you in the direction, RJ, okay?
Okay.
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 20 games, 0 threes made. 44 games with 1 or less.
Ouch.
That's nutty.
Ouch.
Right? Meanwhile, I think Desmond Bane, his number is 7 with 0 threes. And granted, his highs were higher and his lows were lower. Can he match Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's defense? Maybe not. But with as defensively powerful as this Magic group is, let's sacrifice a little bit of defense to, let's say, get out of the basement at 3-point percentage for this group. You don't have to be a great offensive team to be successful the way the Magic was. We talked about how their defensive presence percolates throughout the Eastern Conference. Sure, maybe they want to stuff them on NBA TV. Yes, I'm throwing shade at the league. I'm sorry, RJ. Maybe they want to stuff them on NBA TV, but the permutation of what's felt in this Eastern Conference, being as open as it is in particular Boston being wrecked, is a good part to do with the Magic being involved in that physical play in the playoffs.
Kyle Nash joining us here on Open Gym. You throw shade at NBA TV, and I'm one to throw shade at them too. because I feel like the Orlando Magic are a team that should have more national TV games. And just in your opinion, when it comes to even that of Paolo Banchero, we see what he's able to do night in and night out. We see the numbers he's putting up. And, I mean, they're nearly historic numbers that we're seeing night after night. Every time that I'm hearing, that of Jake Chapman or Dante Marchitelli, and they're bringing up the stat line of one Paolo Banchero, he's always being put in the same conversation of a LeBron James or a Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, or even some guys who were former Magic players like Tracy McGrady and that of Shaquille O'Neal. Just, is this the year, in your opinion, that Paolo Banchero finally gets the national attention he so deserves?
I think, it's funny, we opened talking about UCF and Scott Frost. I think what they're going to have to do to get attention is going to have to be the same as UCF and Scott Frost in that first go-round. They're just going to have to show it on the court. They're just going to have to win a playoff series or two and make the Eastern Conference Finals. And then next year, maybe, they'll get the respect.
Okay.
Now, the good news is with Desmond Bane, he's got some time still in the league. He's entering his prime. One could say he's in his prime now.
Right.
Whereas Davies Caldwell-Pope was truly in his twilight. I guess the silver lining is in the Pope experiment fame. And let's be clear, I like Kenny. Cool guy. He just wasn't shooting the rock the way that needed to be done. Fans got frustrated by it. Can't blame him. But Desmond Bane's future with his team, with that contract, is secured. You can make the argument that they have their big three now. And by the way, quietly, I think a big move again involving this guy that's not getting talked about enough, just like his injury didn't get talked about enough last year. The German Hammer himself, Mo Wagner, being back in play, getting retained that other year, is huge.
Yes.
Especially with Cole Anthony being gone as the spirit of the team. Mo Wagner is enough of a guy who can have that presence spiritually, for lack of a better word, intangibly, if you will. Yeah, that's another Jimmy Stone's word, right, RJ?
Intangibly,
right?
Yes.
So having him there on that roster has the potential to keep that spirit up, not to the same extent as Cole Anthony, but having him back in play is going to be great for this group.
Now, Mo Wagner also, what I felt was so important when it came to re-signing him, he shot 36% from distance last season, and unfortunately, that was the best three-point shooter on your team last season. I do think it's a bit of a joy and something to look at very closely if you're a Magic fan, that you have now signed three guys to your roster that shot over 40% from distance. Desmond Bane, we also heard Kyle Nash talk about Tyus Jones, and you're also bringing in Jace Richardson, who shot 40% from three in college. So that should give a lot of relief to guys such as Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs. And speaking of Franz Wagner, just wanted to know from you, just how big of a year do you think it could be for him going into this season?
The pendulum swings wide on this one, my friend. It can be great or it could be disappointing. And I don't mean that in just, well, that's everybody. No, during the season last year, you could tell that Franz Wagner was playing with his shot. I was talking with our friend Philip Rossman-Reich about this, Locked On Magic, where it's just something he's doing differently with his motion. And it's rare for players to try to fix their shot during the year, but Franz was doing that. I think considering that, overcoming the injury as well, by the way, and having an offseason under his belt now at this point, if that can turn into better performance shooting beyond the arc, the weapon he can be only becomes more dangerous. And then if you start becoming that threat and you can't double Paolo to force him to kick out or whatever, then Paolo's going to work and just completely batter you down low.
Right.
That's what we call a balanced attack, my friend. That's dangerous in any sport. And listen, hoop is no different with that, brother.
Final couple of moments with Kyle Nash of the Black and Gold Banneret, as well as the Believe Network, joining us here on 1010XL. So you make the move for Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones. You extend Paolo Banchero. You're bringing in Noah Pinda, Jace Richardson. You also re-sign Mo Wagner, along with that team that still has their defensive identity intact. Mm-hmm. With this Eastern Conference looking as wide open as we've seen it in quite some time, did the Magic do enough to push through and possibly make it to the NBA Finals this year?
I think so. I think so. And granted, let's not act like Boston's out of play.
Right.
I would make the argument without knowing what's going to go on with Mike Brown and the Knicks and all that. I can argue that they're still the biggest threat. The Knicks are still a threat, perhaps, but I don't take the Sixers seriously anymore. They got some names that I like to watch play, but they can't stay healthy. The Pacers, can they come back again? It's very tough to go through an entire postseason like that and then come back, which, oh, by the way, an Halliburton injury and all that, oh, my goodness, having to overcome that, that's their own challenge. But, yeah, the Magic have done so much to give themselves a chance to carve their way up to the Eastern Conference. The opportunity's great.
Now, before we let you go, you do a lot on the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. Just what are your thoughts on the Jags as we head here to training camp and we inch closer and closer to the regular season?
The healing can begin. This new front office has done so much. I think the number is 60% of players are going into this camp not having been Jacksonville Jaguars last year. That's wild stuff. And because this team is in so much flux, the AFC South is what it is. There may not be the stability you'd like to see, but because they're recognizing they need to change, the hype for this team to sneakily be an AFC South contender and be a playoff contender by way of a division championship is a fascinating thing to consider, RJ. That's all I'm going to tell you with that.
Whether it's the Believe Network, the Black and Gold Banner Red, Jacksonville Jaguars, or Orlando Magic, he is a smorgasbord of knowledge, and he is a guy who I like to call my friend. He is Kyle Nash, the student of the game. Make sure to follow him and all his great work on Twitter at the SOTG, as he gave us a couple moments of his time here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Kyle, thank you so much. And we're going to be talking down the road, my friend. Thank you.
Absolutely. Don't forget to check the writings on Fan First Sports Network as well. And until next time, my friend, class dismissed.
Grab your backpacks and your lunch pails. The student of the game has spoken, Kyle Nash. Much thank you to him. So we've given you a lot here on today's program with the Orlando Magic. A lot this week when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Magic as well. Big year for both of those ball clubs. Hopefully we can have a lot of celebration here in Florida, whether that be Northeast Florida or in city beautiful Central Florida. Now, Damian Lillard came back. It was announced that he will be making his return to the Portland Trail Blazers. So with him doing that, would there be any Jacksonville Jaguar that's currently playing that you would love to see come back to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Me and Dylan discuss that next, right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
I'm Max Fink on your Gator station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen to the Gator Report all year round.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go Gators! After our son's shoulder issues were worsening, we took him to see Dr. Snyder at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, who recommended PRP treatment. We trusted Dr. Snyder's evaluation and look forward to seeing him pitch again. For the right care, the best care, we highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
It's the power of the spoken word and your imagination.
Daniel Murphy waits on the 0-1, and there's a drive. Deep right field. That ball's gone.
1010XL, your radio home for play-by-play.
Daniel Murphy.
Tucker Equipment Rental in Neptune Beach, you just don't rent quality machines, you rent quality customer service. Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Dave. Tucker Equipment Rental has been supplying Jacksonville with equipment and event rental for over 50 years.
From commercial and homeowner projects, we've got what you need: lifts, dirt equipment, and landscape equipment.
And don't forget about event rentals, from festivals to weddings to backyard barbecues.
Local, knowledgeable, and always ready to help.
Tucker Equipment Rentals.
You need it, we've got it, come see us.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey, Hickett here. Think you got the ugliest garage floor on the First Coast? Your garage a crack-stained hot mess? Hold on to your squeegee. Checkmate Coatings is hunting for the worst garage floor out there. And the winner gets a free garage coating makeover. Whoa! Take 10 seconds. Snap a pic of that garage eyesore. Register at checkmatecoatings.com/contests for a chance to win a free floor coating. It's easy. Just snap a quick pic and enter for a chance to win at checkmatecoatings.com/contest. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
It's hurricane season. Protect your home with 904 Gutters with a Z. That's right. Z as in zone defense for your home. Water damage hits hard. 904 Gutters with a Z hits back harder. Search 904 Gutters with a Z and make the right call.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it. And send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. ET here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
Hi, folks. Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to I-9 Sports with fall and winter registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Culture building. Something that's important, isn't it? That was one of my biggest takeaways from the Hunt video that came out last night from the Jacksonville Jaguars as the team was doing their first annual Jaguar Iron Man Challenge, the Iron Jaguar Challenge. It's something we have not seen with past regimes. I understand that Dewey Wingard probably was taking a little bit of a shot. And maybe Doug Peterson, maybe even that of Urban Meyer. It feels like dog years that Urban Meyer since he last coached the Jacksonville Jaguars. But it doesn't seem to me that there were a lot of individuals within those past regimes that were trying to build a culture. I think Logan Cook also touched on it, where he said, listen, if they were trying to build a culture, it was done in a very corny way. I think this probably spoke to them in a way they've needed it to resonate with them. Because this is a very important training camp. Probably the most important in the Trevor Lawrence era. If this goes bad, I think the clock starts ticking on this guy, right? But I think what you see Liam Cohen doing, not only does he understand he has to, quote unquote, fix Trevor, fix the offense, but also give a shot in the arm to these guys. That was my main takeaway from this. And I certainly enjoyed the episode short. Certainly enjoy the fact that we are just a couple of days away from training camp and that we, the fans, get a front row seat to all of this to see if that energy translates from what we saw in the video to the practice field and hopefully even in preseason and especially game 1 of the regular season. Dylan, your takeaways from the Hunt video?
I thought it was all right. I watched it last night. I was jonesing to watch something.
Right.
It was one of those things where, you go on Netflix or Amazon Prime and like you just can't find anything that entices you to click, to watch it. And then I was on YouTube. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a watch. So I watched it and it was cool. Got to see, it was a little different. Usually you get to see the war room,
right,
and the draft,
right,
or practice, or they're talking about a player or something. I thought it was a little different, which was cool to see. And yeah, I mean, they need to have those team bonding experiences because, I mean, those are your dudes. That's
right,
your team. And if you look at all the good teams, it don't matter what sport it is, man. Like you've got to be able to interconnect and find some kind of connection. Regardless if it's your somebody that's your position or not. And go a long way because I mean. They're going to be with each other starting from now all the way up until the season ends, which probably going to be in January. So, that's your family.
Sports, the greatest metaphor in which we have for life. Competition. That's understood from a young age. But we played a clip earlier on in the show where Kevin Garnett talks about, listen, you get to a place where if you're in L.A., at that time, when they were playing the Lakers year after year, or you're playing the Cavs and LeBron James, everybody's cheering for that team. Nobody's cheering for you. So you have to look to each other. You have to look to the man on your left and the man on your right. And although maybe the Jaguars and those players understood that, we heard last year from one Andre Sisco that there was a lot of quit on the roster. That can't be seen nor heard next year. Certainly too much on the line. The 403 says in his Ironman Jaguar Challenge, his team would be himself along with Foye, Walker, T-Law, Travis, and Allen. Well, duh, of course you'd have a great team if you choose all the stars. But I like the team, though. I don't know if your team's better than mine, though. I mean, listen, I got Trayvon Walker, Mason Smith. I got two bodyguards over here. All right, picking you up and throwing you out the house like Uncle Phil used to do jazz. Then I have Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr., cerebral guys. Brian Thomas Jr. bringing speed. And I also have Josh Hines Allen. Honorable mention would have been Tank Bigsby. I need versatility here in order to defeat the team that Dylan came up with, which is Foye Oluokun, DeJuan Smoot, Travis Hunter, Mr. Run All Day, Fred Johnson, who, you know what, that's probably Debo on the block. If I'm asking for my bike back and he says, what bike? I'm saying, it can be our bike. You know what I mean? And Cam Little, the guy who I feel probably plays cornhole to this day, probably be great in the cornhole challenge. We saw that in the Hunt video as well. Dewey Wingert, honorable mention for Dylan Denmark. Before we get out of here, however, Damian Lillard electing to go back to the Portland Trailblazers was very interesting to some because you thought that this was a guy that wanted to compete for an NBA championship, but I have absolutely no problem with the fact that this guy wanted to go home. I think being that far away from home and his familiar ground and being in Milwaukee where it seemed he wasn't in the right headspace sometimes. He talked about the struggles he had. I think coming back home, is what he needed. As much as maybe I would have loved to have seen him on the Lakers. And I mean, of course, because the Lakers haven't signed anybody yet since LaRavia and Eaton. Or maybe he could have went to another squad. Some people were saying maybe the Celtics would give him some run, or maybe even that of the Miami Heat. Although there's reports saying out there that there was no interest from Miami to bring in Damian Lillard. I want to know from you guys here in Jacksonville, who are a few guys that played in Jacksonville. They're no longer here, but they still play in the league, but they were former Jags. Who would be a few guys that would be on the tip of your tongue that you would love to see back in a Jacksonville Jaguar uniform? The first guy for me, I think it's Jalen Ramsey. Now, I don't know how the energy would have been with a Jalen Ramsey in the room and Travis Hunter. I don't know if we need that much of a spark. I think that would be an overload. You have one guy who can run all day and he's dancing around all day. You have another guy that would probably be in the locker room saying, "You tell me." Right? But that's going to be my first guy that I would love to see back in a Jacksonville Jaguar uniform. And there were talks, and there were ideas from you, the Jacksonville Jaguar fan, that, hey, maybe we can get Jalen Ramsey back here. He played under James Gladstone when James Gladstone was a part of the regime in Los Angeles. Miami Dolphins saying we want to get him out of here. We would have given up a couple of picks for one Jalen Ramsey. I know that was something that interested a few fans. Rick Ballou has always been a guy to say that if you didn't want Jalen Ramsey back on this team, then you're not telling the truth. You would love to have Jalen Ramsey back on the squad if you can make it happen. But he is on the other side of his career, potentially. We'll see how he does in Pittsburgh. But Jalen Ramsey would be one of the first guys in which I would look at. Now, you brought up a name, Dylan, that I had never thought about when it came to guys coming back in a Jacksonville Jaguar uniform, and that guy was?
Come on, Calais Campbell.
Calais Campbell.
Yeah. That was a little bit of talks. He's been a free agent a lot the last couple of years. He talked about wanting to win a ring, and then he signed with Atlanta. I think that was last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. And then now he's with Arizona. It feels like that's, I guess he's doing what you were talking about, going back home.
Coming home.
He almost won a Super Bowl his first couple of years in the league and never got it with Kurt Warner way back when. But, you talk about a dude that's, we all know Walter Payton Man of the Year and how great he is, not only as a player, but also as a person. Man, he would help out this team a lot, you would think. That would be one, and I could give you one more.
Yep.
I kind of thought about it as you were talking. Remember Quincy Williams?
I was just about to say his name.
Man, dude.
I was just about to say his name.
Balled out since he's played for the Jets. Golly.
We had him.
He's had, his last year in Jacksonville, he had 110 combined tackles.
Right.
Then he went to the Jets. He has 74 solo tackles, 95 solo tackles, and 74.
Good grief.
I mean.
Good grief, man. We had him here. But we weren't playing him as a linebacker, were we?
No, I can't remember.
We were not playing him at that position.
I mean, that was the terrible 2019 team, the COVID year, and then the Urban Meyer year. So, I mean, that was like, what? They had about 8 wins in that 3-year tenure? Jeez. Or no, not even. Just 19 and 20. I take that back. So the Gardner Minshew year.
Right.
When they signed Nick Foles, and then the COVID year.
Good grief, man. Good.
I don't remember a lot of the there's not a lot of moments from those for me.
Quincy Williams would probably be the best player in which we're thinking about that we would love to see make a homecoming return to the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially when you're having questions in terms of who would be starting alongside Foye Oluokun. You think Jack Kaiser is going to be a guy in the future that'll be a linebacker for this ball club. Devin Lloyd, Jamal St. Cyr says he would be absolutely floored if Devin Lloyd does not win the starting position. Ventrell Miller, also a promising guy, had a couple of good moments last year. Other names in which have moved on from the Jacksonville Jaguars but are still in the league, if anybody has interest, I mean, if you were looking for a backup to the backup quarterback. I mean, Josh Dobbs, who, I mean, wherever he was going for quite some time in like half a season, he was looking good. Think a rocket scientist? Josh Dobbs? I wouldn't like him back. But it was definitely a flash in the pan. One DJ Chark. You have that of Leonard Fournette. I believe Fournette is now with the Buffalo Bills. And, of course, everybody's favorite, Jacksonville would not be built without Arden Key. Let us know who you would love to see back in the Jaguar uniform that's still currently playing in honor of Damian Lillard going back to the Portland Trail Blazers. We have made it through the week. It has been Open Gym. We thank you guys so much for kicking it with us during this week. Rick and Hacker will be back from vacation. And on Monday, those will be the voices in which you hear. And Jaguars training camp begins on Wednesday. So for Dylan Denmark, I'm RJ Saunders. This has been Open Gym. You guys enjoy your weekend as well as training camp next.